So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the UK changing tactics over the Northern Ireland Protocol with pushes for interim deals, which means like small mini deals on things like medicines and agri-foods, etc., rather than going for the whole thing at once. So the UK is to change tactics in negotiations over the Northern Ireland Protocol and will push for an interim deal to avert any further deterioration of political stability in the region. Essentially saying, look, it's fighting time. We got to do something. Time to cave, boys, because as we've seen in this article, the scroll wheel. Bear with me. The UK accepts EU judges' role in Northern Ireland Protocol, which was one of the main sticking points. And there's a bit more I wanted to talk about in this article, but we'll get there in a moment. But essentially, this is the UK finally realising that it's time to actually get some work done. Brexit Minister the Iceman is set to propose a new approach based on staged solutions, with a deal on customs declarations and physical checks on goods a priority to address the immediate impact on people's lives and livelihoods, which is something the EU have appeared to have cared more about, because EU proposals typically mirror the sort of requests of business, whilst UK proposals mirror the requests of ERG and absolute clowns. So Frost will also suggest a new solution for governance, softening the UK's demand that the European Court of Justice should be eliminated from the dispute process entirely, which is something we've talked about in another video, but I'll go back over that stuff in case anyone missed it. Instead, it believes an arbitration proposal in the wider withdrawal agreement, which allows disputes to be settled in the political arena in the first instance, could work in Northern Ireland. So they want it to be settled by politicians rather than through the courts, which, okay, it's not exactly what I read into it in the other article. Under this scenario, the ECJ would only be invited to give its opinions on a matter of EU law if the dispute was unresolved and went to a second stage of an arbitration panel. So the way I've kind of read it is there are two stages to this. So one would be kind of a first stage between, say, UK and EU judges, and if they can't come to some sort of consensus, it would then go to the ECJ, which is something they've offered, something similar to Switzerland with obviously Swiss judges, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Under the scenario, the ECJ would be, I mentioned that, a UK government source said, since the EU won't address all of the issues we put on the table, we are willing to look at interim solutions, losing my ability to read, which deal with the most acute problems. But any such interim agreement must put a stop to the ECJ settling disputes between us and the EU now and in the future. But that's not going to happen, pal, and that's the thing that they finally realised. They're kicking that bit into long grass, saying, well, the ECJ are going to have to stop making rulings over stuff, even though they haven't made any rulings over anything regarding the Northern Ireland Protocol, as far as I know of. So it's a massive red herring. But they're saying, in the future, bro, you gotta fix up, and you're like, yeah, cool, all right, cool, yeah, cool story, bro. The change will be interpreted as a significant stepping back from the brink by Frost, who has threatened to blow up talks on several occasions using Article 16, which would allow it to suspend parts of the deal, but that's only after a month delay, and the EU can throw back tariffs if they want to. But it appears that fears the Stormont devolved government could collapse before the Assembly elections in May have brought renewed focus to issues. I mean, I'm going to talk about that Donaldson kind of threatening to close Stormont, so I'll get there at some point. This is quite interesting. Cambridge professor of EU law Catherine Bernard said the suggestions floating around Whitehall for a solution over the European Court of Justice had merit. She's saying, I've always thought that this is a sensible compromise, talking about the changes to the... I believe she's talking about the changes to the way the judge system works, like the arbitration panels at first instance, but it's not mentioned in the article, which is a pain, because who the hell knows what articles 169 and 174 are. Yeah, I could Google them, but this should really be mentioned in the article. But I think it's mentioned in the Telegraph piece, so we'll go back and have a look. So it would require the UK to recognise that there is some role for the ECJ, but it would also require a big compromise from the EU, which feels like they've been doing that all day, because it would mean they didn't have the full application of the EU remedy system to use in disputes. She added, it would also require rewording part of the withdrawal agreement, which the EU has been vehemently opposed to. So I don't think the proposal she's suggesting is the one that is mentioned in this. I called it the Telegraph, it's the Times. So there's a bit here. So the EU offered a similar framework to Switzerland, talking about how to a framework treaty, which aimed to bring together 120 bilateral agreements between the parties. Under the model, the arbitration panel would have included EU and Swiss judges, which would have discussed disputes before points of EU law were referred to the ECJ. So essentially, it would create like a first grouping. So what happened is it would go to this kind of arbitration panel first, and if they didn't come up with anything, it would go to the ECJ. I'm not 100% sure if that's what this Professor Catherine Barnard is talking about, so we'll kind of leave her kind of point in the dust a bit. But point being is, it looks like the UK are saying we want a similar model to Switzerland in this regard about the framework. Having some sort of arbitration panel before it goes to the ECJ, which it would be quite interesting to see what the EU have to say about it, or the EU Commission. I can imagine them saying no, because it's a bit of a red herring and it's a bit pointless and takes away their kind of sovereignty over the Northern Ireland Protocol, and Britain is all about that sovereignty. But we can see clearly the government is changing tactic, looking for smaller, more achievable deals with the EU over the Northern Ireland Protocol. Kind of not deals, agreements, should I say, and minor changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol, rather than saying we're going to blow the whole thing up and start again. But great article from Lisa Carroll. I just wish she kind of mentioned specifically what the proposals would mean in real terms, rather than mentioning the two kind of articles. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.